After helping hundreds of people move all around Orange County over the last handful of years, we know that schools are really important for a lot of homebuyers. And if you're watching this video, that's probably you as well. So we're going to go through some official rankings, share you those numbers and the different stats, different places you might want to consider if you're thinking about making a move and schooling is important. But I'm also going to give you perspective from a real estate pro, having hundreds or thousands of conversations with people in your shoes who are looking around in different areas. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen here because I have a lot of information for us to go over today. Now, what we are going to be talking about are what are the best schools in Orange County. I'm going to break this down to a couple different things. We're going to talk about districts and different cities to live in. So this is going to be a lot of different information. I'm also going to give you some resources. So if you do like this type of content, like and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you like the iPad content, I just started making this more recently. So put a comment down below that you either like or don't like it so we can make better content for you. Now, the first thing that I'll mention is how niche.com, which is where all this, anything I give you the stats or grades, it's going to come from niche.com. This is how they grade school districts specifically. So they gave them like a school rating, go figure, and they go off academics, teachers, clubs and activities, sports, resources, facilities, diversity, college prep, administration, and food. So when you see an overall grade, right, when you see A+ for this particular school, I'll just use it as an example, it's important to understand that it's not just academics. They take a lot of different stuff into consideration. Now, if academics are the most important to you, my advice to you would be to head over to niche.com and you can check it out what they have. But to be honest, a lot of this stuff I was surprised about. Now, if you want help talking about your unique situation, you can always go to allaboutOC.com and you can connect with me and my team and we'd be happy to walk you through this. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive through. Okay, so let's start by talking about the top 5 school districts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the bottom and we're going to work our way up. So there's a couple things here is I'm going to show first of all this bottom one, number 5 is the Placentia Yorba Linda Unified School District. There are 35 schools and over 23,000 students in this district, so it is overall a large district. And as you can see, these other student populations, it is the second biggest one. The only one that's bigger is actually the top one. So the only thing that I will say is notable here is that this is in northern Orange County, and we're going to break this up in between north and south. Now, the number 4 on here is actually the Huntington Beach School District. So this is the Union High School District. So there are only 8 schools with 14,000 students in this particular one. So it's quite a bit smaller, which also number 3 is pretty small as well too. This is Fullerton. So all 3 of these technically are what I would consider North Orange County as well too. Now, generally speaking, we'll talk about this more when we get to the pros. A lot of people will generally say that South Orange County actually has better schools than North Orange County does. We'll explain more about that in a little bit. Now, number 2, this is Los Alamitos School District. So that adds another 4 out of the top 5 are all in Northern Orange County, which to me, to be honest, helping hundreds of people through this was a little bit surprising to me. But again, you have to factor in that they're talking about all of these different things when they're doing this, not just academics, which I think a lot of people think maybe just academics. But having said that, coming in at number 1, this is the Irvine Unified School District, and this should be no surprise to anybody whatsoever. If you are considering moving to Orange County and you want to make sure you are in absolutely the best schools possible, Irvine definitely has that, and it's a large school district. There's lots of schools, there's lots of students, lots of options to choose from, and almost anywhere you live in Irvine is going to have fantastic schools. So those are the top 5 districts that we are going to cover here. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do, this is kind of a fun one. I played high school sports and I played baseball through college. These are the best 5 districts for athletics. So one thing that's cool about niche.com is you can actually filter it for the different thing that you're looking for. But this is for athletes. So coming in at number 5, this is Santa Ana Unified School District. Overall, it is a B, and it's an A- in sports, and this is another huge district with almost 40,000 students. This was bigger than Irvine was. Now, coming in at number 4, this is Huntington Beach Union. So this was on the top 5 districts. It's also on the top 5 for schools. So this is an A- in sports and an A+ overall. This is a very, very popular school district, and even though it's not a very large one. Coming in at number 3 is Saddleback Unified School District. So this is in Southern Orange County. Irvine also would be considered Southern Orange County as well too. Saddleback is in kind of the Mission Viejo area as well too. I say that because Saddleback's not a city. Everything else we've mentioned is the city name. So number 2 is the Placentia Yorba Linda. And if you remember, this was number 5 on the top school districts as well too. So this is an A for sports and an A+ overall. Very, very good school districts here as well. Now, last but not least, number 1, Capo Unified School District, A for sports, A+ overall. I have a little bit of pride with this because this is where I went to school my whole childhood growing up. So anyway, that is your best for athletes and school districts. Now, I'm going to move on to top 10. So what I personally did is, we know that if you are a home buyer and you're looking at Orange County, you are either looking in North Orange County or South Orange County. Most people will say, okay, I'm considering Orange County, and then most either like one or the other better. Very few people are looking at all of Orange County as a whole. So that is in our experience, which is why I separated these into North versus South Orange County. So let's go ahead and start. And these are in no particular order. I'm going to talk about the top cities to live in if schools are important to you. Now, this is from a real estate pro, aka me, not by any data whatsoever. This is based on what I know, well, I guess what I have looked at, right? I obviously do research on different schools and stuff like that. But if you were just to call me and say, Christian, what are the areas that I should be considering if schools are important to me? This is the list. And again, it is in no particular order. I want to make that clear as well too. So first on the list, I'm going to do one, kind of go back and forth. So let's start with South OC, and this is Irvine. If schools are super important to you, South Orange County, Irvine has to be on your list. And the one thing that I will say here is there is a tax, not literally, there is about a 30% premium to live in Irvine versus a lot of these other cities that are on here. A huge reason for that is because of the schools. Another is obviously location. It's the most central and it's very close to Newport and all the things. There is a premium to Irvine in large part because of how good the school district is. However, let's go ahead and move on to North Orange County. One of the best is Huntington Beach. This is something where you have great schools and great sports. You're in a very good location overall. It is a beach city, which is also a positive if that's important to you. So I think this is a unique one that's on here. It's not a huge district. I think there's like I think 2 or 3 high schools in Huntington. I think there might just be 2, to be honest. But Huntington Beach is a place that if schools are really important to you and you wanted to be in a beach city, there's really not a whole lot of other options. All right, moving on, South OC, let's talk about Laguna Beach. So having said that, the biggest difference here, other than being north and south, is Laguna Beach is going to have a few extra dollar signs versus Huntington Beach. Not that Huntington's necessarily cheap, but it's certainly more affordable than Laguna Beach is one of the most expensive cities in Orange County, second only to Newport Beach. So Laguna Beach is known for having very, very good schools. But again, it's very small. Laguna Beach School District is just Laguna Beach. It's very, very small. So because we have more on South OC, I'm going to go ahead and hit another one here. I must have just erased my words here. Let's try this again for the big unveil. This is Ladera Ranch. In full disclosure, this is where I went to middle school. I actually lived in Ladera Ranch as well too. They have absolutely fantastic schools. There are lots of them. And if schools are important, you're probably a family, maybe a young family. And Ladera Ranch has 3 elementary schools on one street. This has, which Irvine does as well too. I'm gonna put like an asterisk. I'm gonna put a gold asterisk here for a minute. I'll put it down here. I'm just gonna put an asterisk on the cities that have citywide amenities for kids. You're gonna have neighborhood ones, obviously, like for example, in Huntington doesn't have any citywide amenities. However, it does have, like, a neighborhood might have amenities that are really good for families, but citywide amenities for families. And I'm going to put these gold asterisks here as well too, because that often becomes a very important thing. Okay, let's go back to North Orange County. Rossmoor is really small as well too. Honestly, this is one I didn't know. I did not know Rossmoor had really, really good schools. It does. It's very high rated all the way across the board. This has to be on the list for North Orange County. It is a smaller area, but if you're looking for good schools and you don't want to be in LA, but you want to be as close as possible to LA, Rossmoor is a fantastic option. The next one is Santa Margarita. So Rancho Santa Margarita is in South Orange County. This is a good alternative that's a little bit less expensive than some of its neighboring options. Ladera Ranch is a newer version of Rancho Santa Margarita, is kind of a good way to think of that. So this has good amenities as well too. I'll give this like half of a star because it does have a lot of very good amenities, but it isn't the same as Irvine and Ladera Ranch. So I don't know how to do half a star. I'll just do a plus instead of a star. That should give some kind of basis there. So heading back over to the North OC ones, we've got Yorba Linda. This is rather annoying. Yorba Linda. And Yorba Linda, we mentioned Yorba Linda Placentia District. This is on here several different times. This has really, really good schools. It's a beautiful area. It's also much more affordable, which is something you'll see rather common on the North OC side. Is generally speaking, your money goes a little bit further on the North OC side rather than some of the places in South OC. Not always, but it's definitely important, I think, to mention as well too. So, all right, we got a couple left here. Aliso Viejo. Now, this is probably one of the most affordable. It's really more neighborhood focused as well too. And honestly, I think for Rancho Santa Margarita, like maybe I don't want to do like you might say there's some, but not really enough. But Aliso Viejo has very good schools as well too. And if you're looking for overall family stuff, it's got to be on the list. Now let's finish off South OC with Las Flores. This is in between Ladera Ranch and Rancho Santa Margarita, and it has a lot of the same benefits. Slightly newer, slightly older than Ladera Ranch, slightly newer than Las Flores, than Rancho Santa Margarita rather. So these would be the areas in South OC. You've got Irvine, Laguna Beach, Ladera Ranch. I will say I would put these guys in a bracket in that order. Actually, I did order that. These aren't in any order down here at the bottom, but these three, Irvine, Laguna, Ladera Ranch, are definitely top three cities that I'd highly recommend if schooling is important. Last but not least, we've got Los Alamitos, ITOS, and this one was on our list of top districts as well too. Very good schools, very good sports. To where you also, I would put these two in the same category as if LA is, if like you like being close to LA and you want good schools, these are two fantastic options. Flip side of that, if you want to be like closer to like the Inland Empire and you want really good schools and stuff, Yorba Linda would be a good option for that as well too. So as far as different schools, this would be where I would at least start. So I'm curious what you think. Go ahead and leave a comment down below with the city that you think is the best overall for schools, and definitely make sure you put a comment down below for the one that I missed out, and let me know what you think about the iPad. So whatever you think, if you want to talk with our team and learn how we can help you with your own unique situation, just head over to allaboutoc.com. But if you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel because we put out new videos like this every single week. Now, on top of that, this next video is a beginning to a mini home buying series. So if you are thinking about making a purchase and you want to learn more about the actual buying process itself, how we save our clients tons and tons of money while keeping you protected through the entire process, I made this 4-part home buying series where I break down everything in a lot of detail, and it's in 4 different videos so you can watch it in chunks. So I'm going to have that first video up here. Highly recommend you watch it. I hope you found this video helpful, and I will see you in the next one.